The Twin Cities Championship is a series rich with historic rivalries. Today, we get a continuation of a big Twin Cities rivalry as Como Park and Minneapolis South meet for the fourth straight year to determine the 2020 Twin Cities Championship. Como Park has not lost since their first appearance back in 2015. We'll see if that streak continues today. Greetings, everyone. I'm Mike Peden alongside LaToya, Turk, and LaToya. It's rare for two schools to meet like this year after year, but for the fourth straight year, we have Como Park and Minneapolis South. What is it about these two that keeps them in this Twin Cities game?
Well, for starters, South, they have the Hill family, and that's always going to keep them in the loop in any big competition. And this Como Park team, they just keep revamping. We saw them, 4 years ago, and they had Andrea Adams, Michaela Vanette, and Rain Adams, leading the charge. And now they have a whole new group of youngsters. So I don't think this is going to change anytime soon.
Those youngsters have done big things this season. Como Park seated third in the section 3-3A. And that might fire up Alexis Gray Lawson and her young bloods, KK Asbury, Ronnie Porter. They felt they got the short end of the stick. So you're going to have a motivated Como Park team today.
Oh, that'll charge them. And that one thing about it is Lex can definitely lead the troop and rally the troops.
They are dealing with some injuries, so you may see limited minutes out of Chloe Dimitrick and Jada James, but this Como Park team has a lot of depth on their side. We'll see that on display today. Minneapolis South, it's the first year with Ricky Hill as head coach. He can focus on coaching now that his daughter, Jen Vante, has moved through the college ranks, had a great career at Oregon State, was on the De La Salle staff for several years, took the South job, kind of full circle because Hill, a few years later, took the job that Tanisha Scott once had at South, and as you said, the Hill sisters always anchoring Minneapolis South basketball.
And what a great group of young ladies for him to get coming in first year as a coach here at South.
It certainly helps when you have one of the top 10 scorers in the state in Jade Hill. She had 4 straight 30-point games earlier this season, including a season-high 39 against Anoka. If you're a Hill, you've got some hooping skills, and Jade and Angel certainly bring a lot to the basketball court.
Absolutely. I talked to their dad a little earlier, and he said that my kids, that's what they do, is basketball, and it shows.
The running joke with the Hill family is that I'll keep covering them until I get old or die, to which Monique, the matriarch, said, let's hope you get old first. We'll get a little bit older and wiser when we return to tip off the 2020 Twin Cities Girls Championship. When the high school season is over, TSP Television goes on the highlight trail. Our highlight reels provide you with a valuable resource for recruiters and a keepsake of your favorite athlete. To learn more about our highlight reel services, contact us at tsptelevision@gmail.com. Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSP Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves. Holloman, good if it goes. Yes! Game winners. James, she's in trouble. Finds James, toss shot, it goes in! And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. That put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSP Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching. Welcome back to Como Park High School. Mike Peden and LaToya Turk with you. LaToya, you took part in a couple of these Twin Cities games as a coach. This one, played for pride, nothing on the line as far as seeding or records go, but what is it about this game that makes it so special?
Well, it's the Minneapolis-St. Paul rivalry, and the girls really look forward to this. This is going to be a hard-fought game today, and you really want to win this game. This is a pride thing.
And historically, this game usually goes down to the wire, no matter what year it is, no matter who's in the lineup. Como and South, it always a white-knuckle kind of contest. Last year, Jada James hit the buzzer beater layup to get a 1-point win over Minneapolis South at their place.
Well, you do have the best teams from Minneapolis and from St. Paul, so I expect for it to be a game to come down to the wire.
Now, Como Park, they've dominated the St. Paul City Conference. This is their 6th straight appearance in the Twin Cities game. Minneapolis South, their 4th straight appearance. Of course, they were a regular participant in the years of Taylor Hill, Washburn got in there for a couple of years, Southwest in 2016. Who can forget that one where Como Park came back from 15-0 down and won in a shootout. As you said, it's a rivalry.
Yeah, and, you know, great for these young ladies who are holding it down for their teams on each side of the river. But what do you do to rebuild the city conference, St. Paul and Minneapolis? Because as we can see, it's very lopsided. These two teams are dominating in their respective conferences.
Let's take a look at the starting five for Minneapolis South. It's Jade Hill, number 4, the junior. Cameron Benjamin, number 11. J.J. Mullins-Carlson, number 12, also juniors. Bella Athanasilis, number 21, the sophomore. And Angel Hill, the 8th grader, number 24. Some changes for Como Park starting five. Ronnie Porter's in there, number 1. You'll see Michaela Holton, the sophomore, in today. K.K. Asbury, the sophomore, number 24. Shakyla Walker, also a sophomore, number 30. And Jada James getting the start today, number 42. Again, Chloe Dimitrick and Jada James nursing through some injuries, ankle sprains and the like. Chloe's been going through some cryotherapy. Jeff told me she is close to full strength. Jada trying to work her way back. And Como, again, a little steamed about getting the 3 seed because they'll have to go on the road to play St. Croix Lutheran in the semis. But Simley, the number 1 team in Section 3-3A and South in Section 6, that's where Hopkins is, so it's a tall order. We're underway, and the tip goes to Como Park.
And we see South coming out. Oh, it's a man-to-man.
Ronnie Porter feeding it to James. Jada through traffic, got nothing there.
Both teams are really young. Both teams are very young. South only has 2 seniors on their team, and and there's 3 seniors on the Como Park team.
Jade Hill to Bella Athanasilis. Pressure from the Cougars, and we've got a foul.
And that's one thing that we are going to expect to see tonight with Jade and Angel being the leading scorers on South, that Como's not going to give them much breathing room tonight. But one thing we know about these young ladies, they do have a very high basketball IQ, and they play basketball for a long time. We'll definitely be able to facilitate and make the adjustments.
Jade and Angel, just 2 along that line of Hill sisters, and there's an offensive foul on Cameron Benjamin.
Foul on South's number 11, Benjamin.
South 24-2 in Ricky Hill's first season as a head coach. His daughter Janvante played at Oregon State. He was part of the De La Salle staff for the last several years, and again, it's amusing that he goes back to South. He started there with Tanisha Scott, then followed her to De La Salle.
You have 2 really good coaches on the sidelines today, and so it'll be interesting to see them lead the troops today with these younger girls out here on the floor.
Alexis Gray Lawson has been with the Como Park team for 5 years. Jade Hill is fouled. She'll shoot 2. 10 games with 30 points or more for Jade Hill.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Her season low is 21.
Wow.
Number 4 for South.
Averaging 27.9 a game. Jade 5th in the state in scoring. And she'll be back for 1 more year. The one knock, if you could call it that, Minneapolis South and Como Park, maybe the non-conference schedule wasn't as strong as some voters would like. I think that's why Como Park got the 3 seed. Not a lot of, they only played 22 games, so that's 4 dates, and they didn't play St. Croix Lutheran, Simley, De La Salle, really anyone in 3A that would serve as a measuring stick.
Yeah, and that plays a factor. We could see South, they put a little light press to slow down the Como guards a little bit.
Well, it's hard to stop Ronnie Porter.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's going to be hard to stop her.
Don't let her 5'2" frame fool you. She is a motor. Speaking of motors, there's Jade Hill. Angel with the rebound. Angel got playing time as a 7th grader last year.
Oh, great
Como
court
in transition,
vision.
yes. And that's a foul on Bella Athanasilis, making contact with Walker.
How do you call a foul? You call it out of bounds.
Okay, out of bounds, yes. Tough to tell from that vantage point. But you're right, it was just a deflection out of bounds. Minneapolis South now, as a team, part of it was the schedule or some of the circumstances, agreements that were set up with their former coach, Nate McGuire, as Jade Hill drives and scores. That being said, Minneapolis South, beat a lot of teams in non-conference play as Como tries to push it and end up losing it.
And even though Jade has a couple inches on Ronnie, that's going to be a great matchup. Ronnie, see her getting out on the floor, just outrunning her. And Ronnie does a great job of showing her fouls. So being a smaller player, I think that's a great skill set to have, to be able to show when a bigger guard leans into you or extends that arm. And we'll see how many times she gets to the free throw line doing that tonight.
South's 2 losses came to Rogers and Woodbury. Como Park, 18-4. They did play a couple of high-quality 4A schools at St. Louis Park and St. Michael Albertville. So I don't want to rip Como Park's schedule altogether. I think, again, it just goes down to Wayzata, another one, but no measuring stick. When you don't have Simley or Becker or teams that you would see in 3A, the coaches, they got to go with something.
Right.
And St. Croix Lutheran had a win over De La Salle in their pocket.
Traditionally, we've seen guards, especially younger guards, get really frazzled at this Como Park press, and South is doing a good job staying under control here.
Jada James left the pass short. She whiffed it. Hands the ball right to South, and Angel Hill will attack and score. Jada knew it as soon as she let go of the ball.
Let it out of her hands, yeah.
Jada's not known as a floor general, though, so that didn't work out for the Cougars, but long way to go. First of 3 games we're covering today. Twin Cities game, and then the doubleheader with De La Salle Minnehaha. South on the fast break. Ronnie Porter got in there for the block.
And she's always using those hands. We've seen her both ends of the floor. But great, that was a great pass, great positioning on getting out on that outlet for Benjamin there.
And Minneapolis South, even though they haven't been able to reach state since winning it in 2009. They've been right there. It's really just trying to find an auxiliary piece to help out the Hill sisters. But with a 24-2 record in Ricky Hill's first season,
we're not complaining.
No. Well, they'll take it. And South had some good teams in the past, but Ricky Hill understands the city, the dynamics, demographics, and all of that. Came from an inner city school in De La Salle as Jade Hill goes back to the line for 2.
And we see right away that Jade's taken that ball right into the paint, and she's picked up, Holden's picked up 2 quick fouls, and I make some adjustments there. We're still at 14:21 left in the half, and if Jade keeps knocking down those free throws, keep her team in this.
Jada James struggling so far, had that whiff and couldn't handle the pass there. Had a layup if she were able to haul it,
and
but
there
she makes up
is.
for it. Well, and the way Como Park plays, as we get a foul call here, the way Como Park plays, if you have a mistake, they play quickly enough that you're going to get a lot of possession, so you'll get a chance to make up for any miscues.
You definitely have to have that transition mindset, because it goes from offense to defense so quickly playing against this team. But hats off to the referees, because this is a tough environment to come into and ref. Not only do you have the coaches on you, but you also have the entire fan section on you.
Well, it's no different than any other Twin Cities game as Ronnie Porter hit the mid-range J. You mentioned Como Park's quick transition from defense to offense and vice versa as Mullins Carlson misses the elbow J. We saw that with Madison East and Minnehaha Academy. If they get a rebound or a steal, everyone sprints to the bucket.
Nice rebound, Jada.
Athanasilis with the rejection. Benjamin with the steal. The Hill sisters with the 2-on-1. And that pass not right on the spot there, just a little off, and Angel couldn't corral it. KK Asbury for 3. Bullseye. KK Asbury crossed 1,000 points earlier this season in a win over Highland Park.
That's phenomenal to have two.
Oh, that is a miscue.
Two sophomore guards crossing the 1,000 point mark in your season.
And an unfortunate miscue on the Tigers. Unforced errors. We talk about that all the time, no matter who the opponent is. That is what can kill you in games.
And for these two teams, they're so evenly matched up that, it could come down to that, the number of errors that we commit.
Ronnie Porter feeling it. I know your mother was thrilled that you and I were on hand to see her get 1,000, and
yes,
several of her buddies were in attendance. That's a traveling call on the Tigers, number 23, Shanice Cox. Nia Holloway was there. Myra Morjani from Eden Prairie. All AAU teammates.
KK from Hopkins was there.
KK Adams, yep. Not AAU teammates, but just part of an extended family.
Right.
Ronnie Porter for three. That might have been a heat check with her start so far. Jade Hill, hesitation move, she'll shoot two.
And she's taking it right to the basket. You know who she reminds me of? She reminds me of Andrea Adams.
Following Cougars, number 24, Asbury.
I thought you were signaling to Demaya.
Yeah, I was. One of our friends just walked in.
Okay, it was like, if Jade reminded you of Demaya, it's like, well, I could see that.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Now, I do wonder, though, can Jade pull off a slide move and keep her dribble?
I'm sure she can. I'm sure she can. I know it wouldn't be quite as, Hollywood as you, Demaya, but
I'm sure on the highlight tape you put together at the end of the season, that slide job's going to be in there.
Yeah, there's a couple.
That'll be Demaya's cover photo on social media. I almost wanted to call her safe.
Yeah, I know Como has some post players that are injured or nursing some injuries, but it's going to be nice to see them show up because that'd be a huge impact for Como Park in this game.
Jade Hill relentless on the attack.
Yeah.
That will be South ball.
And, that could definitely be a strategy. Go right to the basket, get the foul called, get the guards in foul trouble, and then it's a lot easier for them to operate without having some of those defensive specialists on the floor from Como.
Jade Hill up to 7 points already. Her big sister Taylor, Minneapolis South's all-time leading scorer.
And you can see Ronnie surveying the floor.
Holton on the line, off the rim. Jade Hill collects the board. South looking to run. Well, Jade Hill gets the cleanup.
But Holton did a great job of running the floor on that.
She did, but Jade Hill did a great job staying with it.
Absolutely, staying there. We always tell the girls, run with your player because she might miss that bunny and she'll need you to rebound for her.
Well, I can see why she's averaging a whole lot of points.
And if it's one thing you didn't learn from the scouting report is that you've got to get a hand in KK's face. If you give her just a little space, she's going to take it.
She took it there.
Entering the game for the Cougars, number 5.
KK Asbury with 2 threes to her credit, 18-11 our score.
And we see Jalen Smith's in the game right now for Como Park. She gives a burst of energy off the bench, and so we'll see if she continues that accelerated pace for them.
Cox right up on Porter, feeds it inside to Holton, and Holton had nowhere to go. Jade Hill running the floor.
Nice hesitation.
Another hesitation. Jade Hill has been driving with impunity.
Has Jade had to take a jump shot yet? I don't think she's taken a jump shot yet.
No, she hasn't. They've all been layups. But that speed in that first step, her hesitation move, is creating a lot of scoring opportunities. Asbury on the skip to Dimitrick. That's broken up. Ronnie Porter will reset things. There's Jalen Smith. Her 3 is no good. High Karam goes to Angel Hill.
And you can see the 2 bigs underneath the basket really going at it.
Blocking foul is called on Asbury. And Ronnie Porter may have taken a hit to the face. Angel Hill, 4 games with 20 points or more this season, averaging 13.5.
Those are some impressive numbers as an 8th grader. Those are impressive numbers as a senior.
And much like Morgan and Jade, sort of a passing of the baton, Jade played as a 7th grader when Morgan was a sophomore, and then Angel doing the same thing.
No, I said, I joke with Paul that South, probably should erect some type of a plaque or something for them over there in their athletic department, because the Hill sisters have done a great job building the program over at South.
Taylor, 3,888 points. Morgan Hill got over 2,000. Jade Hill will likely cross 2,000. And Angel, I'm sure, will rack up a lot of points.
And there are more.
Well, we know there are more. If you look at that extended family, PJ's got a daughter who will be playing soon. Tanisha Scott, her daughter, suiting up on varsity this year. Not quite ready for that level yet, but she'll be playing soon.
And they are letting them play. There's a lot of contact.
These Twin Cities games are often physical. You get 2 city teams. They have a lot of history. They like to...
Way to be there, Chloe.
They are not shy in the slightest. Chloe Dimitrick, again, nursing a sprained ankle, but looked fine on that play. Got the steal in the bucket. Angel Hill weaving through traffic, gets her own miss. That hit the rim, so she can get it. Cox tried to feed it inside. Jada James deflects it. 9:01 left in the first half. 20-15 our score.
I think coming into this game, the young ladies know that it's going to be a battle. It might be a little more physical. But, you do want to keep your girls safe and don't occur any additional injuries going into sections.
Well, Angel Hill, fearless, went right at Walker off the inbound. Recognizing her space, though, on the floor, she was near the restricted zone, so if you've got an opening, you can go out in there and attack because you're going to get the benefit of the doubt with the restricted zone in play. So free throws for Angel Hill.
Number 21, Alex Salas, checking back in for South, replacing McCarthy.
Crystal Flint brought up this discussion, who has the most historic family lineage when it comes to hoops, with the Elamines, the Hill sisters. She brought it up on Facebook, and with what the Hills have done for Minneapolis South girls basketball, winning a state title with Taylor, and even though they haven't reached that pinnacle since then, what Morgan and Jade and Angel are doing, it's amazing that it's not just one person, one athlete in the case of Taylor, that's done wonders for Minneapolis South. It's the entire clan. That's impressive.
Right. You're absolutely right. It's like I said, they when you think of South High School, you can't think of South and not think of the Hill sisters, the Hill family.
Well, Jalen Smith doesn't care about the Hills accolades. She knocks down the three-pointer.
Oh, no. She's a great defender, great offensive asset to any team that she plays for. She's pretty sharp out there. Is she a sophomore as well?
Jalen Smith. She's a junior.
Okay.
23-17. Benjamin open down low. Gets the layup.
And when you're a bigger guard, when you're playing someone who's a little smaller on you, that curl works great.
South bringing the pressure. Walker for three. Looks long, and it is. Dead ball rebound to Como Park. Continuing the discussion about siblings, oftentimes, and we saw this, with the Adams sisters. Andrea was the superstar athlete. Rainey, a solid role player, but not quite at Andrea's level in terms of poise and demeanor. And when you get brothers and sisters who play, that's often the case. Usually you have one who's above the other, and that's not a knock on Rain, for example. It's just how things go sometimes. But with the Hill sisters, they're all bona fide basketball players.
Oh, yeah. That basketball is the only sport that they play, so this is year-round for them, 24/7. But with Rain and Andrea, Rain became Andrea's sidekick. So she was always there, you know. She knew her sister shot. Irene was one of the second leading rebounder on the team, and a lot of times she was rebounding her sister's shot. She knew where it was going to come off. So they worked together. They're a great dynamic duo there.
Jade Hill back at the line. Jade has been everywhere.
She's doing what she normally does for her team.
21 or more in every game this season, and now that Ricky Hill's had a chance to get a feel for this program, we'll see what athletes he can bring in future seasons.
Absolutely.
Doesn't have a lot of seniors on that team, just the one.
And when you have
Just
great
two, I should
coaches,
say.
you know, kids and families will want to play for good coaches. And Ricky's definitely a great coach, so I look to see that this program build.
Michaela Holton scores for the Cougars. Walker gets the dime. 4-point game. Benjamin, foul from behind. South in the double bonus.
And, you know, they're taking the ball right to the basket. If no one stops them, if they don't get in front of them, they're going to keep going. And Benjamin is, you know, has a significant height advantage over those smaller guards. And so she's just going to let them ride him until the ref calls a foul. And it's, you know, Como's in the double bonus right now. So every time they foul, we're going to go to the free throw line.
And that has been Como's weakness for the last several years. Not a lot of height. Benjamin at the line, averaging 7.8 a game. Como makes up for it with their speed and their defense, but as we've seen, it can leave them at risk for fouls. They're already in the penalty, and we have a long way to go. Dimitrick, 3-ball, corner pocket.
And I'll go back to the first time I saw that kid, and I was scouting her, and her inside-out game was so strong. You know, you see her height. She's one of the tallest players on the team, and you expect for her to dominate in the paint, but she can definitely shoot the three. And as we see now, Jade is running the floor. And let's see if that pays off to have both of your bigs in the game at the same time.
Benjamin shoveled her feet, had the right idea, but you know, you can't adjust yourself when you get the ball and stop like that. You got to dribble it. And another miscue for the Tigers. That has been what has held them back, at least in the first half. As the Cougars look to make it 6 straight wins in the Twin Cities game. Dimitrick averaging 5.9 points, 5.5 rebounds per game. High lob inside to James.
It's going to be really nice to see these young ladies play over the summer as well. You know, get through sections and get their AAU program starting. I think KK and Ronnie will be playing together for the North Tartan EYBL team this year, it's going to be fantastic for them when they come back. You think they were beating teams this year in the conference. Wait till you see them next season.
Jada James averaging 6.5 points per game and about 6 rebounds. Her production lower than what it was last year as she splits at the line. But her presence not needed as much with the help that they're getting from their guards.
And Schulten's not giving Hill any
Dimitrick
space.
with the strip. Scramble for the ball. That should be a tie-up. No, Como got it and gets the timeout call with 5:59 to go. And we've got
that swarming defense from Como Park.
Yep. We've got William the Bake Show Baker on hand. He DJs most of the home games for Como Park with 5:59 to go. LaToya, this Como Park team, they've been hit with a lot of fouls, but that defense is also producing dividends.
Yeah, and you know, that comes with the territory. When you're that handsy and you're that aggressive on defense, you are going to have more fouls called. And they've lived through that time and time again. I think if we look at their foul count, they're usually in the double bonus around this time of the game. So they'll live through it, and it's not going to stop them from pressing.
And one of the officials having a word with Alexis Gray Lawson. I'm not sure what the case was. Yolanda England, Jeff Dimitrick, part of the coaching staff. Yolanda, of course, the mother of Ronnie Porter Rennell, who played at St. Paul Central. And Jeff, he came in and We mentioned this in our last Como broadcast. He and Chloe, they love basketball as much as they love classic cars.
Yeah.
Walker, step through, nowhere to go. Jade Hill collects the rebound. And Michaela Holton pokes it away. It will stay South ball.
From the looks of it, it looks like Jade is Holton's assignment, so she's on her.
Mullins-Carlson, 3 is long. Dimitrick with the rebound, looking to leak out. Had Porter, but the pass was too long. Jade Hill, deep 3, short.
It's a little Scalia there.
Rebound tip to Angel Hill. They'll try again from Cameron Benjamin. 3 no good, and Walker hacks Angel Hill. She'll shoot 2.
Foul on the Cougars, number 30, Walker, her third.
Now, thanks to the rebirth of the De La Salle Minnehaha rivalry this day in basketball, kind of a fun way to end the season, the Twin Cities game, and then one of the biggest rivalries in the game.
I've been talking about these two games all week. Like, what are you doing on Saturday? There's 2 really big, good games going on. So
I know you if it wasn't for your engagement tonight, you would be down there too.
Absolutely. I think I'm gonna try to catch the first 20 minutes. I can't stay away.
Como Park in transition. Asbury to Porter for 2.
And that's the price you pay when you put that pressure in the backcourt. You know, sometimes you give up some layups.
Timeout, Minneapolis South. So both teams have used up a timeout. 5:05 to go in the first half. LaToya, since this is season's end for the high school girls, what are some of your favorite moments of the 2019-2020 season?
Oh, let's see here. There were some players that I hadn't saw before that I enjoyed watching.
What kind of players are we talking about?
The young lady from Chaska, the guard, Kennedy.
Kennedy Sanders.
Yep. I always love watching Holy Angels and De La Salle. That was a great game.
That was a great series.
Yeah,
and they could meet again in state.
Absolutely.
I had a feeling this might stump you.
Yeah, and actually I had wrote a list. I should go get it at halftime because since this is the last game before sections, I were covering some highlights. I regret not being able to see Alexis Pratt play this year during regular season.
Alexis Pratt doing wonders at Stillwater. She'll be a focal point of that team next year. For me, well, it's hard to pick one, but seeing Addison Mack up close and personal, the 7th grader, as you know, you can't play before then, so no one really knew who she was.
Yes.
Now everybody does, but to see a 7th grader put up 18 points per game.
Mm-hmm. I got a chance to watch her earlier in the year.
That's right, Blake and Maranatha in the same section. And she played Minnehaha well.
Right.
I know, Maranatha, you got the win in that one, but I have to imagine seeing Addison Mack play like I did, you can see a lot of potential. That's an offensive foul on Angel Hill.
And, those Hill sisters are going right into the lane. And I think if Como, if they learn that technique for, step roll, they'll get more charges called for them.
4:50 left in the first half. KK Asbury with a one-handed jumper.
KK does a great job of freezing her defender on her hesitation. She's probably, next to her teammate Ronnie, one of the best ball handlers that I've seen in quite some time.
And Como Park getting some separation. Now this we don't see often. Usually it's neck and neck. But South staring at an 11-point deficit. Cameron Benjamin makes it 8 with the 3-pointer. That is her first triple. She's up to 7. One difference so far that's helping Como here, they've had 6 different players score. South getting production from just 3. Dimitrick, side fade, 3 looks off, and it is.
And you're going to see that from every single player on the Como Park team. They have the ability to score, and they want to score, and they will score. And I need to redeem myself from the last time we called the game with the Minnehaha Como game, and we didn't know what shoes Ronnie had on. And I want to just say, Ronnie and KK, and there's a couple other players on the floor.
Yeah, they changed up the shoes today.
They are wearing the Giannis, the Milwaukee Bucks player. Those are his shoes. Yep,
Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak.
Yes.
Giannis is how you pronounce it.
Thank you, Giannis. So we'll have to get the shoe cam for them.
Yeah, they've changed it up. It's much more colorful. Well, speaking of shoe game, Alexis Pratt last night in the game against Forest Lake brought out a purple and orange kit.
Okay.
If I didn't know any better, I thought she'd be playing for, well, Kobe. He was purple and gold.
Oh, purple and gold. I'm sorry. I just think of purple. So do you know whose shoes those were?
I didn't have a chance to ask about the shoes because I was doing a live game and I can't really break away to ask the parents about it.
Live.
But if I didn't know any better, I would have sworn that Alexis was playing for the Phoenix Suns or Phoenix Mercury with the purple and orange.
Just give it a couple of years. Give it a few years.
It certainly is an interesting contrast with the red that Stillwater's known for. And, of course, she had those bright yellows last year.
Right. And in AAU.
Yeah, they wore out, so you won't see the yellow shoes anymore.
I wonder how many shoes that kid goes through. She's a pretty quick mover and shaker out there.
3 minutes to go in the first half. Mullins-Carlson can't leave her way through.
To the basket, though.
Asbury with the fake to Porter for three. South wanted to travel. I didn't see it. Jade Hill.
Thought she was going to pull that step back game there on her.
Angel through the hole. No good. Asbury. The bounce pass to Holton. 3-ball. Nothing doing.
Yeah, and that's one thing. It's really hard to play defense on the top player and be an offensive threat. So
Mullins-Carlson struggling to complete drives here.
She can definitely outrun him.
And they miss a layup. It's getting a little sloppy here with just over 2 minutes to play. Chloe Dimitrick blocking. Jade Hill. Ball stays in play. Ronnie Porter.
Yeah, Ronnie will freeze you. Yep.
Does a little misdirection. And we'll go to the line for two. Ronnie Porter, her nickname is Peanut.
Does that fit her?
It depends on what you mean by peanut.
I think of this being small.
Right, Olivia Antilla and I thought it was a reference to her 5'2" frame.
Yeah.
But there could be any other number of reasons. Maybe she likes peanuts. Either the nut itself or the comic strip.
This is
you
true.
See?
This is true.
All right, I'm stretching. But we all know I'm just a big blockhead.
We have Joshana Baker checking in. She's the daughter of Will Baker, who's their DJ here tonight.
I see Damaya's catching up with her.
Yeah, we've known them for quite some time. Shauna's a great defensive player. She's a lot of speed, and she probably has the highest GPA on the team and probably in the conference as well.
Morgan to Cox. That's Angel. I said Morgan because Morgan wore 24 in her days at South. Benjamin for three, short. Ronnie Porter. Almost. That would have been a highlight reel play had that gone in. That is a walk on Baker.
Aww.
We see this a lot in high school. They have the spot, they're ready to shoot, and then they shovel their feet. I don't know why they do that.
Yeah. And you can see Joshana's assignment now is Hill. And she's gonna hug her.
Well, Baker not only hugged her, she fouled her, and free throws coming for Jade Hill. So Angel wears 24, and the reason I got mixed up because Jade and Morgan and Angel, they've all worn 4 or 24.
Mm-hmm.
4 in reference to Taylor's number in college and the pros, and 24 because they're all big Kobe Bryant fans.
That's nice.
Jade Hill splits at the line. South, they have been to the line 18 times. They are 15 of 18, and Como Park will call a timeout with 1:14 left in the first half.
And anytime you're playing Como Park, that weekend practice, you should definitely go over free throw shooting. You should go over it every day, but, you know, for sure, because with the press, you're going to end up at the line.
Absolutely. Well, some of my favorite moments, I touched on this a bit. It seems like there's a new one. Getting the chance to see Paige Beckers do her thing, that was cool. Any game of hers was a moment this year.
Absolutely.
Seeing Adalia McKenzie will a comeback over Maple Grove.
Absolutely.
That was another one. Being on hand to see Ronnie Porter get her 1,000th point.
Yes.
And just a lot of good basketball this year, so it's hard for me to pick one moment exactly. I guess another one was the MLK Fury Classic, seeing some top teams there. And then Hopkins, St. Michael, Albertville, that's a fun series. Those two play each other close. I know next year you'll be more free to cover some of these games.
Absolutely.
Because your daughter will be off in college.
Yeah, there were some great games. We have some great, like, you know, I say it every time I get behind this mic. We have some great student athletes right now playing Minnesota girls basketball. So, like you said, any given night, it could be a highlight for us.
And Como has had plenty of highlights in this Twin Cities rivalry, Minneapolis Southwest. Who can forget? They go down by 15. You wonder if Como Park was in trouble, and Andrea Adams willed her team back. Ronnie Porter with the scoop.
And she looked at the ref. It's like, there's no call there.
Well, you remember this as a player. You always want the foul call, even if there isn't one. You're always going to try to sell it. 48 seconds. Como Park with an 11-point lead. Jade Hill.
Oh, she worked that.
Mullins Carlson with the rebound and the putback.
Way to be there and stay there and be patient, get that rebound on the weak side.
I take that back. That's Aliana MacArthur, number 15, who scored, not J.J. Mullins. Como will hold for the final shot.
Jade has really shown her strength here, going to the basket and the amount of contact that she's taken. Reminds me a little bit of Andrea.
Or Taylor.
Yeah.
KK Asbury with a step back. That bounces out.
And there's Holton again.
Interesting play call there by Como. I think they were hoping to get an O board and get another chance at it. Instead, South can hold for the last shot, and Jade Hill can run the floor in a hurry. Dishes to Angel for three. Missed the mark.
Say that would have been a highlight. End it that way.
Como Park with a 39-30 lead at the break. That defense of theirs, and I think their depth, allowing them to take a 9-point lead at the half.
What we expected. Great half. Lots of up and down. The pressing, the Hill sisters, everything I expected to see today.
Como looking to make it 6 straight wins in the Twin Cities game and 4 straight over Minneapolis South. We've been on hand for some memorable moments between these two. We'll take a look back at some of those Twin Cities games that Como Park emerged victorious in and bring you the second half. This is high school girls basketball. Hill goes up. Well, now she's padding her numbers.
And one.
And goes to Van Nett.
She'll shoot it right back, too.
Instead, she cuts inside and scores.
Nice hesitation move by Burnett.
They kick out. Van Nett off the screen, throws up, and drains the runner. Van Nett to Jones.
South went for a gamble there that almost paid off for him.
The high risk, high reward, and it was Como who got the reward there, much like the game with Cromwell Wright when Elena Jones hit the dagger. Morgan Hill drives and scores to make it a 2-point game again. Hill to Cushing for 3.
Yes!
South can tie it. Who will take
Where's
the
Cushing?
3? Jump ball, Como with the arrow. Van Nett has it. And they will let time expire. Como hangs on for their third Twin Cities win. The Battle of the Twin Cities. For the third straight year, the Minneapolis South Tigers and Como Park Cougars will meet for the Twin Cities Championship. Cushing missing the three. Asbury with the rebound. KK weaves her way through traffic and goes coast to coast. From Hennepin County, usually the Metro schools have the edge, as Ronnie Porter fires and makes the three. Asbury had nowhere to go. Jade Hill speeds past everybody for the layup. Asbury with 4 fouls. Couldn't be as gutsy as she might have wanted to be. Jade Hill, bullseye. Walker to inbound. Finds Asbury. Asbury trying to get a screen from James. She's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot. It goes in. Sedgebart to inbound it. Intercepted by James. That'll do it. Jada James, the hero. Como Park wins. 56-55, the final. Mike Peden and LaToya Turk. LaToya will rejoin me in a moment. Every time we cover the Twin Cities game, it seems like we have more highlights to add to a litany of photo finishes in the Twin Cities game. Como Park has been on hand for several of them, and last year was no exception. Jada James wins it on a buzzer beater or close to it, got the steal to close it out. Como Park leads Minneapolis South 39-30 as we enter the second half. Jade Hill and Ronnie Porter have 14 points each to lead their respective teams. The difference has been balance or auxiliary scoring. Cameron Benjamin and Angel Hill both have 7 each, but Como Park getting more production. 6 players have scored for the Cougars. South has 5, but 4 I should say. MacArthur just has a couple of points to her credit. KK Asbury with 8. Michaela Holton with 6 for the Cougars. Chloe Dimitrick with 5 off the bench. Minneapolis South 24-2. Como Park 18-4. Minneapolis South, their only 2 losses came to Rogers and Woodbury. They've won 16 in a row. The Cougars have won 12 in a row. Again, Como Park feeling a little cheated with the section seeding. So we'll see what happens when they meet in the section playoffs. Now Como got moved out of section 4. So 18 minutes.
Here we go.
To determine the 2020 Twin Cities champion. South had won it for several years with Taylor Hill. Como Park has won it every year since 2015. And the litany of photo finishes started in 2015 when they beat Washburn in overtime and Andrea Adams took over. 2016, we didn't need overtime. Jada James on the high-low play.
And right away we see Como come in, settle down, run their sets, run their offense, get an easy bucket. And they have both of their bigs on the floor right now. I think that's going to be very beneficial for them.
Jade Hill, can she get some help? That will be key. Cameron Benjamin through traffic, she'll shoot 2. One of our camera ops, in case you're wondering, had to bolt. He has a contract with Minnehaha Academy, so he's got to get over there for the JV game with the doubleheader taking place. They had to move up all the other games. And that will be a sellout, as it was last year. It's one of the biggest rivalries in the Metro. South 17 of 20 at the free throw line.
I think when you have good players like the Hill sisters, like KK, like Ronnie on your team, it forces the other players to elevate their game as well. So you'll see some of the young ladies on the team who we haven't heard of before or haven't seen them play, but they want to match the intensity of their teammates.
Ronnie Porter can't drain the runner. Rebound at the Nassaulis.
She has some of the best hands and the best floater.
Jade Hill gets through KK Asbury, and Mullins Carlson can't knock down the 3. This is the first time I've seen South this season, and again, they are maybe a year or two from threatening Hopkins in Section 6, but it's hard to argue against a 24-2 start and someone of Ricky's pedigree, and we'll see if that becomes a catalyst to get more people involved in the South program.
Good coaches will bring good players.
Walker with the steal. Ronnie Porter all by herself. Can't get the layup. Neither can Holton. Como Park, 2 chances at point-blank range.
But how about those 2 offensive rebounds, you know?
Well, you got to put it in if you're Como.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking at. Second
Nice when you
chance
get your own
points.
rebound too, right?
Jade Hill gets the put back and cleans it up. All boards are nice, but coaches are going to look at second chance points.
Right.
Well, last night, for example, Forest Lake had a chance to get a big upset over Stillwater, but missed a ton of layups. And Stillwater was able to pull away.
We rarely see that happen with Ronnie picking up her dribble and needing help.
It's getting a little frantic out there.
Yeah.
Asbury missing the 3. Ronnie Porter leaps up for the rebound.
Great court vision there.
Finds Walker on the backdoor pass.
Took
And
that
Ronnie
one.
Porter, I don't want to say her height was an advantage, but at 5'2", not as noticeable as some of your taller players, so she just snuck in there, grabbed the rebound.
Yeah. One thing I'm going to tell you, though, we call it on the chalkboard. When you're doing the scouting report, her name is the first name on the board. Even though she's the smallest person on the team, you've got to know where she is at all times.
Jade Hill for 3, short. We haven't seen her go beyond the arc all that much. And Asbury picks up the rock. Turns on the Jets. And the ball pulled from behind by Angel Hill. I see the Hill family all here. PJ, Paul, Monique. Well, Ricky also part of that lineage.
Mm-hmm.
Genvante, a cousin of the Hill sisters, and Ricky, again, a longtime figure when it comes to coaching. Started at South with Tanisha Scott, followed her to De La Salle, came back to South, and Tanisha was real pleased to find out that he was going to take over the South job.
Yeah. You always want to leave your program in good hands.
Well, and we stated this before, as Mullen Carlson missing the elbow J. Tanisha did not want to take her sisters with her. She wanted to build it up on her own, and look what happened at De La Salle. I'd say she's built it up. The Hill sisters looking to hook up on the leak out. Pass a little long. So the Tigers will need to run a set play.
Their ball handling is amazing. Their ball handling is amazing for the Hill sisters. They've done a great job of taking care of the ball, keeping it in their hands. And, you know, for one of the first times we'll get to see one of the Hills play outside of their dad's summer program, Taylor Hill Elite. Jade will be playing for the Fury this year.
And the Fury made quite a splash last year, sweeping the AAU state championships. Angel Hill at the line. Shakila Walker picked up her 4th foul.
Number 13, Deshaun Baker checking in.
Now, AAU doesn't get the following that high school hoops does, at least among the casual observers, but Minnesota Fury have built up their program. It was North Tartan who dominated for many years,
Right.
and now, well, much like with Hopkins, eventually you get tired of one program beating you and you find a way to get good.
Right.
Ooh, backdoor play for Baker. Stays in bounds. Finds Holton, and the 15-footer is long. Rebound, Mullins-Carlson. Amasia is her name, but she goes by JJ. Como Park's pressure.
And that's that swarming, hawking defense there that will get you frazzled.
Como with an 8-point lead. 43-35 our score.
Salas for 3rd.
There it is.
Baker. Didn't see a lane.
She didn't have a lot of space. I think they were setting her up for the 3 because she is a 3-point shooter.
Holton on the turnaround, no good.
And, like I said, when we were watching her play against Minneapolis, Holton plays very big, and she can play multiple positions.
Angel Hill had nowhere to go. Baker scoops it up.
And you can see KK scanning the floor.
Behind the back dribble. Oh, my goodness. Put that on the highlight reel. KK Asbury, a sweet, sweet move to the bucket.
And I think her mom's happy she was able to catch that on film.
What gave you that idea?
Their cheerleader high splits that she did.
Something that I don't understand, and I get Jeff and everyone grabs a video on their phones as Asbury hits the three-point play. Why don't they turn them sideways?
Oh, yeah. It's amateur.
You don't watch YouTube on a vertical monitor. Sorry, I'm just an old geezer. Asbury, though, goes up to 9 with that three-point play, and Como Park gets the ball back following the turnover.
Number 23, Shanice Cox returned to the game for the Tigers.
And LaToya, we were looking back at some of the moments in the Twin Cities game. How exciting was it to be on hand to see Andrea take over and beat Southwest in that shootout 4 years ago?
Yeah. A lot of the girls who played on the Southwest, they had an opportunity to play or work out with Andrea in the summer with her dad's Pat's program. And to see her really just take a leadership role and take over was amazing. That whole season that we watched her, there were so many times when she just put her team on her back and did what she had to do.
That takeover, Gene, I know was fun to watch.
I know we might think that she gets it from her dad because he's the basketball guru, but if you know Lee, her mom, I think that takeover spirit comes from her.
Hesitation move by Jade Hill, and she'll convert after Aliana MacArthur got the O board. Jade Hill up to 18.
And a lot of times when the defensive team, they're trying to block everything, just give them that little pump fake, let them go by you and put the shot up. It's a lot easier on your body. So you don't take so much contact.
Ronnie Porter for 3, no good. Holton with the offensive rebound. Asbury lost it. South on the run. Angel catches up to it. Look out.
Holton sacrifices it all. She's definitely at this point where I would nominate her for player of the game. She's everywhere. She's running the floor. She's using that speed. It'd be nice to see what she does for track season as well. Because I think she had a sister who played at Roseville who also ran track and was pretty good until she had a knee injury. So she knows the game.
By the way, for those wondering, Andrea had 43 points, 15 rebounds in that game against Southwest.
Wow. And by the way, Mike does not have notes on that. He has it memorized in his head. We should do some trivia. Ask Mike.
I don't have Jeopardy level recall abilities, but
for
thank you for the
you
endorsement.
For basketball, you do.
Yeah, that was her season high that game, 43. Angel or Jade. It's hard not to get the Hills mixed up.
Yeah, especially when they're wearing the same hairstyle.
Same hairstyle. They
Same
wore
shoes.
the same set of numbers. Morgan has a striking resemblance to her mother.
Yes.
And Taylor. And Angel looks kind of like Morgan out there.
Yeah.
Asbury for 3. No good. And the interesting thing about the Hill sisters, from Taylor to Morgan, Jade, Angel, they're all pretty mellow.
Yeah.
They don't flaunt their abilities. They just go out there and play. Much like Paige Beckers now.
And I think that's a part of their success, being able to stay under control and not play with a lot of emotion and just play.
That was not the case with Andrea Adams. She was one of the shyest kids I've met off the court, on the floor.
Beast mode.
Turned into a beast.
Yeah. Sometimes I use some of her film to get other girls riled up.
Well, one of these security officers, one of the police officers working this game, said he went back and watched the 2015 championship as Ronnie Porter hits the 3 ball from the corner.
And they...
That's going to be a foul. Blocking foul on Como. KK Asbury a little surprised by that.
And both the refs blew their whistle at the same time. Senior official.
So free throws coming for Angel Hill.
And you know, at this point, it's 10:33 left on the clock. You have a little bit of a lead. You're not in the bonus yet. I don't know how many fouls that. Who was that foul called on?
It was on Holton, her third.
Okay, yeah, that could be an issue.
Well, remember, Walker has 4, and Como Park got tagged for a lot of fouls in the first half. Angel Hill splits at the line. She has not made a field goal in the second half. In fact, Angel just has 1 field goal overall. All of her points outside of that have come at the stripe.
Yeah. It was a great strategy for South to use that. You know, she's going straight to putting the ball on the floor, getting to the rack, getting to the foul line. And, you know, we saw South, that soft press again. I'd like to see Como be able to capitalize off of that press because they do have numbers.
Porter off the feet from Asbury, no good.
And that's the second set in a row that they've run for Ronnie. The double screen.
Benjamin to Jade Hill. 3 is short. Asbury with the board. Asbury gets some space. Tried to follow up on that razzle-dazzle move from a few minutes ago.
Yeah, she just didn't have the numbers. And there's Holton again, kicking it, you know, picking the pockets. And there's Ronnie
Porter
again picking the pockets. Nice,
and
nice
step through. Oh, that was like Paige Becker's going to a Maya battle in the Hopkins-Eden Prairie game. Well,
There's
South
Holton
can't make
again.
them pay for it. Well, there was a similar fancy move. Paige Becker's had this behind-the-back no-look pass in a Maya battle, couldn't finish the layup.
Yeah.
And I had Paige and Amaya come out for the postgame, and Paige teases her buddy and said, "What'd you bring her out for? She cost me an assist," as she picked up a double-double in points and assists against Eden Prairie, 23 and 11.
Oh, yeah. In the basketball world, point guards hate when you trick their assist off.
Or when you cost them a chance at an assist.
Yeah. And they're looking for Ronnie again on that three-point shot.
Ronnie had a season-high 31 against Cretin-Durham Hall. KK Asbury can't get the bounce.
And Jada doing what she does best, that rebounding.
Jada getting more active tonight.
Timeout called by Como Park.
And Como Park going to call a timeout, a 30-second variety. Both Ronnie and KK have a double-double in conference play. Now, we'll see what happens next year, but if you're Como Park, I go back to getting seeded third. I still think they have a good chance of winning their section. St. Croix Lutheran has some good shooters, though, and Simley has length. But if you're Como Park, they had some high-level 4A teams. Only played 22 games. They had some trouble finding schools. You know, if you want to avoid that discussion coming up, and you know how it goes sometimes,
Right.
you'll defend your team. But I would see if you can try to schedule some 3A teams that the coaches can use as a reference. Because 4A, STMA, St. Louis Park, Wayzata, they're all good teams, but you're not going to face them in the playoffs.
And, you know, this is the first year for them in this section, learning lesson, I think. She'll make
3A, that is.
She'll make the adjustment next year with the scheduling. Right now is, you know, the time that they're scheduling games, and I think that there'll be a change.
And I can imagine if you're not number one, you know, you're going to think of something. You'll be unhappy about something. And 3A is a coach's vote.
Nice hesitation move there.
That was Jade Hill who got the steal and the layup. We have an official's timeout. I think something happened with Jade James. So 8:39 to go. Jade Hill goes up to 20 points with that bucket. Dimitrik will go in. Jade James looking at her left hand. I wonder if she got scratched.
Yeah, maybe she's bleeding.
And
I don't think a scratch would keep her out. It's probably bleeding.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
It's probably just a scratch, but if you see blood, you're going to stop play automatically. Asbury, 3-ball. No good.
And Walker did a great job.
Dimitrik,
yeah.
yes.
Walker did a great job facilitating that play. She timed that pass right, very good timing on that pass to KK, and then she got into rebounding position. So great job for Walker.
Como Park up 51-40. In an event they have won for 5 straight years. Jade Hill weaving through traffic, no good. Cox missing the layup. Here's Angel. The kick out to Benjamin. Benjamin can't get the bounce.
Way to use your body on that rebound, KK.
Well, she did get the rebound. That's what counts. And the 2 point guards. Switch rolls. Asbury left her open.
Oh.
That was dangerous.
Yeah.
KK, I don't know what her percentages are. They don't post them on the hub, but she can shoot from there. And Jade Hill having a tougher time in the lane than usual. Michaela Holton in transition.
Michaela Holton's everywhere tonight. She is everywhere tonight.
Michaela up to 8 points. And Como Park's depth is outperforming Minneapolis South, but the Hill sisters are always a threat to score. Angel with her second field goal. Dimitrik with the pump fake.
And there's 7 minutes left, and they're down 11, so game is still anybody's game.
South hasn't had a run, though. Ronnie Porter with a deep 3.
And say, if that gets started.
You wonder if folks like Sarah Scalia, people have watched her tape and are trying to extend their range. You know, sometimes I think they might be forcing the issue. Alexis Pratt, for example. Everyone going deeper than they normally would, but that's what the game is going. 3-pointers.
Oh, yeah.
Ronnie
There's Ronnie
Porter with the
quick
steal.
Hands.
Comes up short on the layup. We have a new player in for South. That's number 10.
I know.
Jessica Coulain.
Ronnie's played this game for a long time. You could kind of see as she was transitioning with the ball, she slowed up a little bit because she knew the player was riding her back. She was on her back, and she didn't get the call.
Foul called on Como's number 5, Smith. Her fourth.
Jalen Smith hit with her 4th personal foul.
That was quick. We were talking. I didn't even see what happened. She came in.
I didn't either. The
maybe
foul tally has been lower in the second half.
Well, yeah.
Does South have a run in them? Jade Hill lost the handle, picks it back up. Angel through Jada James, up and in.
You know, I think she realized that she had an advantage on her defender, and Jade and Angel are working that right side.
Ronnie Porter will shoot 2.
And I know Ronnie's pleased now to finally get to that free throw line. She's taken a little bit of contact her last 2 or 3 shots here.
Well, you brought up Ronnie's shoe game from earlier. The last time we covered Como, she was wearing the LeBron MLK line. That's why there was a black and white shoe. That is part of the set.
Yep. And her dad said she's a sneakerhead. Her shoe game.
I think most basketball players are.
Yeah.
At least the ones I've talked to. Porter splits at the line. You know, Tia Elbert, Nia Holly, they all have a collection of shoes.
Yeah.
And Chloe Dimitrik, I think, is another sneakerhead.
You're right.
You know, basketball players, they like their shoe game.
There's a whole culture that I've been learning about with the shoe game. And just as I say she's working the right side, she goes to the left.
That's what Jade can do so well. She can attack on the right and the left side. And that's why she has scored 21 or more every game this season. And she'll be back for one more year. Entry pass.
Yeah,
Tipped.
they're working hard to get that ball into Jada. And South just did a good job defending their help side defense. Their rotation looked really good on that possession.
And Minneapolis South calls a timeout. Interesting strategy here by Ricky Hill because it was South getting the momentum here. Usually it's the other team who calls it, but Angel Hill starting to get some layups to fall. She's at 16 points, Jade Hill at 22. And South, this could be the run they were looking for with 5:03 to go.
And with Ricky, he's probably switching up the strategy at this point. So when you have players that work well together and play well together and respond to you, you can't afford to change the strategy, and they'll come out with that same energy.
Again, pride on the line, bragging rights. You know, this series, I think, had its peak when you had Central and South, the state tournament contenders. But over the years, with Como, we always see a competitive game. And
yeah,
for a while, it looked like they might be able to pull away. But here we go again, 5:03 to go. We might have another photo finish, LaToya.
And before the game, I said no overtime.
Well, that's what I was saying, because I got to get to Minnehaha. I don't want overtime. And Mullins-Carlson played Asbury a little too close there.
Yeah, you got to take their angle.
Just her second, but South with just one foul to give. We've seen some crazy finishes this week. We saw Park Center come back from 10 down, and then Spring Lake Park beat them last night. Then again, they did beat them in sections, so that could be...
Spring Lake Park beat who last night?
Park Center.
Wow.
Well, they did it before. That could be a big semifinal round if they meet.
Wow.
Angel Hill on the drive, no good, and that will be a rebound to the Cougars. And then Thursday, I saw Blake come back from 13-14 down, and a seventh grader by the name of Addie Mack willed her way and the Blake Bears to a comeback win. So
she's an amazing young lady, amazing
yes.
player.
Makes me feel inadequate compared to my seventh grade year.
Right.
.421 to go. Como Park up by 6.
And that's not a lot in this game versus a South team with 4 minutes left on the clock.
Well, 6 isn't that much of a deficit period, but Angel and Jade, with their speed and their ability to attack the lane, you're right, they can score in a hurry. South at the 2-on-1. Angel Hill, the Mullins-Carlson, no good. That's what you got to cash in on. Those fast breaks. Dimitrick does just that for the Cougars.
Chloe did a great job. You know, one of the things you teach post players, don't bring that ball down. She kept it up. No dribble needed.
Dimitrick with 9 off the bench. Big bucket for Como Park. Jade Hill, count it.
Basket by Jade Hill is good.
Every time I see a Hill sister go out there, you're going to get a show. Taylor did a lot of moves like that. Morgan, in her time as a Tiger. Jade is doing that now.
Yeah. And I think she took special pride in scoring on Chloe. Her and Chloe have been, Chloe's been down there, as I call Dennis Rodman them.
That's all, folks. That's okay. At least you didn't mispronounce Makai Harut's name. Chloe
and there we go.
Drains the 3.
There we
go.
The
Dimitrick with 12 off the bench. Her season high is 20, but Dimitrick coming up clutch here.
And now she sees her again.
Jade can't get the layup that time, and a foul on Cox. That is the last to give for the Tigers as the Cougars try to coast to the finish line.
Yeah, Chloe's hot right now.
Yeah, gives Angel a little bit of a bump or more. Yes, Angel.
Yep.
I'm never going to get this down. Morgan, my apologies, and Angel as well.
I would totally capitalize off of Chloe having that fire right now and find her. But I know with Como being up right now for a little score-wise by 8 points, hold the ball for a little bit, run a little time off the clock, score.
South used up their last foul to give. Como Park in the bonus. 1-1 situation for Ronnie Porter, who has 18 points.
Make it 19.
And Ronnie and KK, they have a good chance of reaching 2,000 points together.
These two young ladies have had an amazing basketball career, and they're only sophomores.
They started as 8th graders. Now, Andrea Adams, we mentioned her record. Remember, her first 2 years were at South and Edison, so Angel Hill takes it to the rack. And South not going away. They need a few breaks to go their way, but the Hill sisters are hooking up.
Yeah, and they're going to bring the defensive specialist back in Holton. It's 2:46 left. She's really been the only one who can keep the ball out of the Hill sisters' hands and create some deflections and put some pressure on them, because right now they're just going to the basket at will.
Angel misses the free throw. It's an 8-point game. Not out of reach for the Tigers, but they need a few breaks. And both teams out of fouls to give. Asbury had an opening if she had handled the pass. They'll kick back out. Como Park can work the clock.
It's a turn and
pump
shoot.
fakes. Cox with the block. Dimitrik is there for the baseline J.
And Chloe showed up pretty big these last couple of minutes for Como Park.
Can we call her Clutch Chloe?
Oh, I like
or
it.
Or Chloe the Clutch?
I like Clutch Chloe.
Clutch Chloe. Because that is the role she's playing for Como Park this afternoon. Jade Hill missed the step-back jumper, and Como Park can throw down the dagger here or run out clock. Asbury wants the dagger play. She got it.
Too easy.
And Angel Hill will shoot free throws, but the way it's looking, for the first time ever, Como Park may finally win a Twin Cities game without last minute sweaty palms, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we have a little bit of cushion there.
Well, you always would like to have that. But last year it was a 1-point win. Jada James won it and then sealed it with a steal. Como Park had to sweat a 2-point win over Southwest. Washburn, they had to beat them in overtime. And the prior 3 meetings with South all came down to the wire.
And ladies and gentlemen, Mike has no notes. That's all in his head.
It helps that you've covered, or in the case I've covered many of these, as Jade Hill, Angel. Oh, man. Angel Hill splits at the line. South will call a timeout, but they need a lot to go their way. I was going to say, when you cover so many of these Twin Cities games, you do remember some of them. So, yeah, I don't need notes. It's all in my head.
I just covered a game with you last week, and I don't remember the score.
It wasn't last week. It was Tuesday.
Okay, so that makes it even worse.
And that game was won by Park Center 69-65. Adalia McKenzie dropped 30.
See?
And then Spring Lake Park 172-69 last night. Now, we'll see what happens in the sections. One of my Park Center buddies is already spelling doomsday, but you and I both know when it comes to section play, single elimination, we've seen a lot of parity this year. South, they have a tall order ahead of them with Hopkins. Como Park, they could get out of Section 3. St. Croix Lutheran, they could play the upset card. And Simley, they've got that senior-heavy starting 5 with 3 D1 commits. They are no slouch.
No, they're not. They're not. And they're going to be hard to get past, and they're hungry, and they want it.
And the Spartans, we'll see. Again, that will be a fun section to follow. Town Square TV will have coverage of that one, I presume. Other sections to keep an eye on. Section 5, 4A, always a dogfight.
Right.
Centennial Park Center are the front runners. Spring Lake Park getting that big win. could give them some confidence. Section 8, another tough one with St. Michael, Albertville, Maple Grove, and Elk River. And Section 2, Chaska, Eden Prairie. And don't count out Shakopee. Section 3, De La Salle, the favorite.
Number 11, Benjamin.
Hill Murray might have something to say about that. I just think De La Salle is too athletic.
Right, and Hill Murray always has a good showing, a good run at the end of the season here. So
They did, although Totino Grace upset them last year in the semis.
right. And 'tis the season for sections, for upsets.
And there usually is an upset or two. Asbury missing at the line, but Como Park, they have an 11-point lead. They don't need to start fretting yet. But Jade Hill knocks down the corner 3 to
I have
South
to
in this.
I have to catch myself from calling Angel Morgan. They look so much alike.
They do. I've been tripped up about 3-4 times.
yeah.
And you wonder why I'm not on ESPN yet. But with that 3, Jade Hill goes up to 28 points. And whatever happens to South, next season's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
The key is going to be, can they get some support around them? Andrea Adams, that senior run of hers in 2016. Michaela Van Nett
Right.
came into form. And those two formed a nice duo.
Right. I mean, she had some amazing role players. Rain Adams, Michaela Vanette, Danica coming off the bench, Elena, who eventually transferred over to
Elena Jones,
Yeah,
who went to
De
De
La
La Salle. That is going to be the thing to watch. Como Park gets the timeout call in before the 5-second call. So 1:13 to go.
This will be a full 60 seconds.
So Como Park, a win would give them 13 straight to end the season. If South can come back, it would give them their 17th straight. So for South, as we said, if they can get some role players, that will be key, because having a superstar is helpful. Well, Andrea Adams went through that the year before you came in. Adams and Van Nett were a nice pairing, but they didn't really have that accountability or the emphasis on conditioning until Alexis
Right.
Gray Lawson came in. And remember, that was a big shakeup because John Robinson and the Adams, they are family friends. They go way back.
Right. I think having coaches come in who, at that time I was running my own program, training and conditioning young ladies. Lex was fresh out of the league. And so that mindset of being in shape and working together and teamwork, and we were just able to instill that in the young ladies on the floor. And it showed.
Speaking of the league, what do you make of Simone Augustus in a Sparks jersey?
I know, she's going to enjoy some avocado toast in California and finish off her career in the sunlight. That's, that's amazing, It's opportunity continue to grow.
Well, this is her last season, as she announced, and figured LA would give her a better chance of winning a title. Como Park lost it. Can South
We
finish on
rarely
the
see
other
that
end?
happen.
Yes.
We rarely see that happen. The last 2 offensive possessions for Como. we've
Another
seen-
steal. Benjamin hit from behind.
Como-
Still 1-1, but South not out of this.
South has played some amazing defense the last 2 possessions, getting those 2 turnovers and forcing the timeout.
And Ricky knows Como Park well. Remember, he was on the De La Salle staff. De La Salle and Como in the same section for several years.
And it's great as a coach to draw up something and your girls are able to go out and execute it.
So Cameron Benjamin with 8 points, just 1 in the second half. Big free throws here. Just as I was about to say Como Park would coast to victory,
Yeah.
here we go again. Another nail biter. What else is new in the Twin Cities game? South, I expect they'll bring more pressure here. Only a 4-point game.
KK's got to trust her teammates.
And a bailout foul there by Aliana MacArthur. Now, Michaela Holton at the line, 8 points. This is her first trip, so you get a cold free throw shooter. And remember, this is still 1-1. So if Holton misses the front end, South has a chance.
And we see Jada, the rebounding queen, getting in position there. Holton's been very clutch for Como tonight as well.
A split at the line. And Como ball. South couldn't hang on to the rebound. Big day of rivalries to end the regular season in girls hoops. Ronnie Porter to the line for 2. Drawing the foul on Jade Hill.
Go ahead and close this out. Knocking these 2 free throws down. Get both of them.
Well, this is
a
double
double?
bonus. That's why I said Ronnie to the line for 2. And Ronnie has been clutch throughout the season. As much as we talked about sections, Alexis is furious that her team got seeded 3rd. I have a feeling she's going to carry that energy, and she will be out for business. Another offensive rebound. So the Cougars getting some key second chance opportunities here in the final minute. And Holton back to the line.
Foul called on South's number 4.
What a way to end the season.
2 free throws for Michaela Holton.
Inadvertent whistle, maybe?
No, it's a lane violation. They switched spots. So,
okay.
The South players did.
When I heard lane violation, okay, that makes sense because it's 2 free throws. So the first one, you don't have to worry about a lane violation that way.
Right.
Well, you mentioned Simone earlier. It's tough when you have an athlete like she did who spent her entire career with one team.
Yeah.
It's going to be like watching Michael Jordan in a Wizards uniform. But Holton misses both free throws, so South.
But at the end of the day, we have to
score.
do what's best for the player, and if that's what's best for her and her family and her career.
Jade Hill had a tough lane there.
She had a lot of drives to the basket where took a lot of contact.
MacArthur fouls out, and Como Park can seal it here. KK Asbury.
James back in for Dimitri.
6 games of 20 points or more this season. It's funny how Asbury and Ronnie are similar when you look at the stat trends. They both had a stretch of 4 20-point games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
They both have 1 double-double. Porter has the slight edge in scoring, but they almost play alike.
Yeah, they've played together for so long. You know, it comes with the territory. What a treat as a coach to have both of them on your team with those numbers and those stats.
And another offensive rebound by the Cougars. And the Cougars are going to run out the clock. South, they're going to let time expire. Como Park's tenacity on offense helped them hold off South, and they're going to win the Twin Cities Championship for the 6th straight year. So once again, the rivalry owned by Como Park, 68-61 the final. And the Cougars will get a little bit of momentum heading into sections. Again, they're angry, or at least Alexis is, about getting the 3 seed. But this Como Park team proved why they are a tough out no matter who the opponent is.
Yeah, and on to the next, on to sections. And one thing about it, she's going to have her girls ready to play and compete against whoever they match up with. But taking no slack from those girls over at South. They played a great game, a hard-fought game, and I look forward to seeing that program grow.
Jade Hill with a game-high 28. Angel Hill with 19. Cameron Benjamin with 10. Those are your notables for the Tigers. For the Cougars, Ronnie Porter with 21. KK Asbury with 12. And Chloe Dimitrick, 14 points off the bench.
Amazing, amazing. Great job, guys.
And that does it from Como Park in our first of 3 games today. If you're following this on YouTube, we'll have the Minnehaha De La Salle doubleheader coming your way. Thanks for stopping by, LaToya. We'll try to save a seat for you, or at least keep you up to date on the doubleheader tonight. That's going to be a lot of fun. And this was a fun season. Como Park ends it on a high note, 68-61 over Minneapolis South to win the first 2020 or the first Twin Cities Championship of the 2020s.